Hey, what's up? It's Nick Hanley with AM 590 ESPN Omaha. Instant reaction from Nebraska's 24-17 loss to the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And look, we could go through all the numbers in this one. We could break down where Minnesota was able to best Nebraska, where Nebraska fell short. You all know it by now. It's the same old song and dance. It's one step forward, two or three or four or five steps back. I mean, that's where this program is right now, and it's unfortunate because Nebraska had a great opportunity going up against a Minnesota team that you got to give PJ Fleck a lot of credit. They are very well coached, no matter who they put out on the field, and we learned that 30 players, 30 some players were going to be missing in that game for Minnesota because of COVID-19, and yet they were still able to put forth the type of effort that could put them in a position to win a football game, and they did exactly that in Lincoln. So for Nebraska, they wrap up the regular season with just 2 wins. They beat Purdue, they beat Penn State, and unfortunately, Nebraska unable to seize momentum again, coming off of that win against Purdue, where we all thought they could potentially finish the season at 4-4. Now, Nebraska will play in the Champions Week matchup on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock on the road in Piscataway. They will take on Rutgers. That's a game that I think should be scary for Nebraska because Greg Schiano, now that he has reinserted himself as the head coach at Rutgers, you've seen that program start to make some turns. They are playing better football. They believe in what's going on at Rutgers. And you also have a former Husker quarterback who is leading the offense in Noah Vedral. So that makes for an interesting storyline. Can we say that about Nebraska? Can we say that the arrow is pointing in the right direction? Because it's hard to really find that. Nebraska, inexplicably, they did not execute. And again, this comes back to the offense. The offense was horrific against one of the worst defenses in college football, especially the worst defense in all of the Big Ten. Nebraska unable to really do anything in this game. They lost the turnover battle. The penalties weren't huge, but again, the Cam Taylor-Britt targeting call, that obviously hurt this defense. And again, speaking of the defense, they played pretty good. This team did not lose the football game because the defense was unable to make the necessary stops. It was the offense, as it has been throughout this year, that has been wildly inconsistent. Absolutely zero downfield passing attack. And the unfortunate thing was Adrian Martinez, who came back in after being benched, he had 2 very good starts, one against Iowa and a loss, and then a very good start in the win against Purdue last week. He regressed back to what we kind of saw against Northwestern. And it's one thing to chalk it up against that Northwestern defense to say, hey, you know what? A lot of quarterbacks are going to struggle. But against this Minnesota defense, again, nothing against Minnesota. They played who they had, and they were able to get the job done. But that's inexcusable for a 3-year starter. Scott Frost said after the game, still very positive about these guys. He knows they'll come out and play. They will work hard this week. But also talking about how they have a lot of young players on this team still in key roles. But you start thinking about that, there's a little bit more experience on the field than you think. And so, again, it just kind of seems to be the same kind of talk, the same kind of, let's call it excuses. There's a lot of excuses with this team and very little action. And until those answers are solved with this coaching staff, with this football team, it's hard to imagine this team being able to take 2, 3, or 4 significant steps forward. It's just not a good look. Nebraska loses to a Minnesota team that was undermanned, but as it's been throughout the year, a team that was better prepared and a team that was able to outcoach Nebraska. We got a lot to talk about on Monday. It's a short show. We're off the air at 4:45 because of Nebraska Creighton women's basketball, but we will get into this on the Big Red Breakdown Monday. Look forward to talking to you at 2 o'clock on the Nick Hanley Show.